Welcome back. As I sit down to record today's episode, little Miss Ripley and I have just gotten back from the groomers. She tolerates that pretty well. Today we have another interesting word, some historical events, a couple of birthdays, a song and a quote. So, oh my gosh, I got here without a cup. Grab your favorite cuppa. Yes, doesn't everyone keep a salt shaker on their desk? Grab your favorite cuppa, sit back, and let's have a look. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for June 25th. June 25th is the 176th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 177th in leap years, with 189 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is pernicious. Pernicious is an adjective that means causing great harm or damage, often in a way that is not easily seen or noticed. Pernicious is often used to describe something that's highly destructive, harmful, or deadly, often in a subtle or gradual way. It carries a sense of underlying danger, especially when the threat is not immediately obvious. You're more likely to hear the word pernicious in slightly more formal settings, in writing or speeches. Feel free to give it a spin in everyday conversation sometime. Here are some example sentences. Long-term exposure to the chemical had pernicious effects on the workers' health. Or, the dictator's propaganda had a pernicious grip on the minds of the citizens. Or, the manager failed to recognize the pernicious impact of his constant criticism. The word pernicious comes to us from Latin, where it literally meant completely deadly. Yikes. First known use of the word pernicious is in the 1400s. Pernicious. Today's word pernicious was suggested by YouTube viewer at Jeannie Arnold's 6726. Thanks, Jeannie. And if you have a word you'd like to suggest for this Word of the Day segment, feel free to drop it in the comments section. I'll add it to the list. I'm still laughing about having a salt shaker on my desk. On to today's items. And with that, Virginia became the 10th state to ratify the United States Constitution on June 25, 1788. June 25, 1876, saw the beginning of the Battle of the Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand. Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer did not survive that battle. This is the birthday of George Orwell, born June 25, 1903. He wrote two of the 20th century's best-known novels, Animal Farm and 1984. Set in a totalitarian future, his influential book 1984 coined such phrases as Big Brother is watching you, newspeak, and doublethink. He died at the age of 46 from tuberculosis. On June 25, 1910, the United States Congress passed the Mann Act, which prohibits interstate transport of women or girls for immoral purposes. This is the birthday of American singer-songwriter Carly Simon, born June 25, 1943. Her dad, Richard Simon, was co-founder of the publishing company Simon & Schuster. She developed a persistent stammer when she was about 8 years old, but discovered that while she had a great deal of trouble talking, in that time, she could express herself quite clearly through singing. She began singing professionally with her sister Lucy in 1963, the Simon Sisters. A few years later, Lucy left the group to move on to her own projects, and Carly went solo. She had 13 top 40 hits in the 1970s, 4 gold certified singles. Ms. Simon was married to James Taylor for 10 or 11 years, and they had a couple of children together, wrote songs together, of course. She's written and sung popular music, movie and television scores, works for children. She's a cancer survivor, and sadly, all her siblings have died from cancer. So I'd say we're lucky to still have her around. I counted something like 22 studio albums, 17 other kinds of albums, such as compilation albums, soundtracks, live albums, and a Christmas album. And then there's the films and the books. Happy birthday, Carly Simon. In honor of Carly Simon's birthday, today's song is You Belong to Me. Written by Michael McDonald and Carly Simon, You Belong to Me was originally recorded by the Doobie Brothers in 1977, and then Carly Simon released it as the lead single on her 7th studio album, Boys in Trees, in 1978. It made the top 10 on the Billboard Pop Singles chart and also found placement on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart. You Belong to Me has come to be one of her biggest hits and has been featured in romantic comedy films and on several other collections. You Belong to Me by Carly Simon. Link in the description. How about that? I'd heard the word pernicious before, but in terms of a condition called pernicious anemia, which as I understand it, is caused by a vitamin B12 deficiency, usually due to the body's inability to absorb B12 properly. But it could also be from a dietary deficiency. Pernicious anemia. I never thought of it in other uses, so I learned something today too. As I do most days, putting these little reports together for you. I chose today's quote because it felt hopeful to me. I'm a big advocate for acting on one's own behalf and doing what you can to better your own situation. And that's kind of what this quote felt like for me. It is, "Light tomorrow with today." Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Light tomorrow with today. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoyed this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.